Sunset Over Water is players painting beautiful landscapes and trying to be more successful than one another. Players take their bits. We recommend bagging them in little starter kits. Set up the 5x5 grid and lay out the commission cards, the number of players plus 1. Put your meeples in the middle and start. Each round, you'll choose one of the 3 planning cards and place the other 2 on the bottom of your deck. The player with the earliest time goes first. The middle part shows how many spaces you can move and the directions you can go. The bottom part shows how many landscape cards you can take. The landscapes are of mountains, sunsets, coasts, flowers, and waterfalls. Cards can have up to 3 of the features. When your meeple moves from one card to another, you may collect the number of landscapes shown on your planning card, including the starting and end cards. This leaves spaces on the board, and you cannot jump over these spaces. You also cannot land on another player's space, or if you jump over a player's meeple, take the card that they're on. If your landscape cards match any commission cards, trade those landscapes on your turn. Commission cards are worth points at the end. Like landscapes, these are only replenished between rounds. These are objectives for the round. The first person to perform it takes the card. The last player to perform it gets to keep it. After everyone is gone, set things up for the next round. Keep going until the end of the 6th day. In other words, when 2 planning cards are left. Add up all the points from your commissions and daily goals. You'll also get 1 renown for every 2 features on your unsold landscapes. Move around, collect landscapes and trade them, score the most renown, and be the most successful painter. That's Sunset Over Water. The 5x5 grid, additional cards, and play areas don't take up as much space as you'd think. If 4 people can eat at your dining room table, this should fit. Including setup and takedown, Sunset Over Water usually won't last longer than 40 minutes. My solo games were half as long. This is a weeknight game and all player counts. The game is mostly symbols, with a couple words on those daily goals. The trickiest parts will be knowing how time works and understanding how to balance the turn order, movement, and landscape limits. The gameplay isn't tough, but I'd save this for 8-year-olds. Some 7-year-olds should be able to handle this. The first time you played with the expansion, the game was really close. Mom thought she was going to destroy us, but Dad and I thought each other had a good chance at winning. When we added up our scores, I was a few points back of second. Mom was 2 ahead of Dad, but we hadn't added the Nature's Muse points yet. Mom and I had 7, and Dad had 8. He got the 3 points, beating Mom by 1. Mom's face right then made me laugh so hard. Just like Herbaceous, which was made by the same group, this game is gorgeous. And I mean really gorgeous. Also like Herbaceous, it introduces a few more board game mechanisms, but in an easy to follow way. And they both have themes that might interest non-gamers. Gamers too, of course. The planning cards are the smartest thing about this game. Do you play an early card to sneak out before the others, knowing you probably won't be able to grab more than 1 landscape? What about going later, knowing you can go in any direction, but possibly have your plan A and or plan B ruined by someone? I'm glad the daily goals exist. Like the Nature's Muse expansion, they add more to think about. I wouldn't go out my way to buy the expansion though. I think there's enough in the base game. The icons are really easy to learn and remember after a game or 2. And there is a reference card that helps. We have a problem with some of the commission cards. The question mark is fun. It can be any feature. There are some cards that have a question mark and ellipsis, which is supposed to mean it can have other features or no features. It would have been better to have a question mark /X or a question mark /NA or anything else. This is confusing for new players and even took us a couple of plays before we remembered all the time. There aren't many of these cards, but they can catch you off guard when they pop up. It's unlikely, but we've seen it. If you're in a corner, you only have 3 ways to move. Not all cards allow you to move in all directions. If other players take all or some of the cards around you, you might be stuck. For board gamers, take that isn't a big deal. You'll get your revenge soon enough. For people who don't play often, it could be frustrating that they can't move because inexperience put them in a bad spot. So what do I think? Well, I like the grid movement, which reminds me of the Game of Thrones, Hand of the King. I like the set collection, which reminds me of Cat Lady and similar multiplayer gateway games. The problem is, I don't like this as much as I like those games. I think Sunset Over Water is best with 3 because there's some blocking, but you'll still be able to do something. 2 player is pretty good, and so is solo, although I've only played that a couple of times. 4 feels slower and is more frustrating. There are tons of games I'd rather play with 4 people, like Herbaceous. If you've watched this whole video, hopefully you'll see if the gameplay is a fit for you and your family. I know that for me and my mom, we'd be okay never playing this one again. Actually, that's not entirely true. My dad, despite liking really heavy games, likes this one. He wants to keep it for groups and for solo. I'll probably try solo a few more times. Maybe, maybe no. And there you have it.